Hi, my name is Brendan Maguire. I am the MLA for Halifax Atlantic, which means I'm a politician. Um, I'm a very lucky politician because I get to represent an area that, quite frankly, saved my life. Um, but I'm not here today to talk about politics. I'm actually here today to talk about who I was, who I am, and why that's important. Um, my parents, my two parents, Brendan Maguire and Bridget Maguire, were from Northern Ireland. They moved from Northern Ireland to England, and then they came to Canada. When they came to Canada, they had 5 children in tow. I was the second youngest of 5. My real only memory of my parents, and quite frankly, I thought this was a dream for a long time, and my brothers and sister verified this, was one day we were sitting in the living room, the 5 of us playing, and my second oldest brother, Paul, decided to go to the bathroom. So he went to the washroom. He came back out and he had some makeup on his face and he was dancing around and laughing. We were all joking with him. And my mother came around the corner and she went pale. And she said, "You need to get that off your face now before your father gets home." She grabbed him by the arm. She dragged him into the bathroom. A few minutes later, we heard our father coming up the driveway, and my oldest brother, Desmond, ran outside to cause a distraction, so he pushed over the woodpile. My father cursed, sweared, and then proceeded to beat him. And he dragged Desmond into the house, half unconscious, screamed for my mother. She came out with Paul and started to explain to him what happened. And my father lunged for her, first hitting my brother, knocking him out cold, and then beating my mother. The 3 of us hid and watched this. My earliest memories of my parents are of alcoholism, drug addiction, spousal, and child abuse. From there, they decided they had enough of parenting. They took the 5 of us, as the story goes, they took the 5 of us to a mall, dropped us off, and walked away. That day was filled with confusion and fear, and that day I became a foster child. One of the first families I remember living at was a couple. Their names were Lillian and Brian. And if you've never been a foster child, it's a different experience to be dropped off into a stranger's home and told, "This is your new house. These are your new parents. You're going to be safe." It takes a while to adjust. So I came down. I was adjusting. It was safe. It felt good. I came down the stairs one morning, and Brian and Lillian were at the table. And they said, "We need to talk to you." Okay? They said, "We're moving. We're moving to Ontario." I thought, great. I don't know where that is, but it sounds fun. And they said, "We're going to give you 2 choices, and we're going to let you make this choice. You can stay with us and have a safe, happy family. We will treat you like our own, but you will never see your brothers and sister again. Or you can leave. But the problem is you're too old. Nobody's going to adopt you. So life is going to be difficult. You're going to have to move from place to place. But the bonus is you get to know your brothers and sister." I chose to leave. That was a few days before my 6th birthday that I made that decision. It was the day I became an adult. And they were right. I promise it's not all sad. They were right. It wasn't easy. There were days that were great, where I lived with people and it was fun and we played in the yard and you were a kid and you felt safe. And then there were days where you did something wrong and I was locked in a cold, wet, dark furnace room and I would scream and cry myself to sleep. That child became a teenager who was scared, a teenager who hated the world, a teenager who had been hurt by the people that were supposed to protect him the most, a teenager who was thought of death more than life. If you could go back and ask that teenager what he wanted the most, he would always say, "I just want to go home." But he knew a decision he had made when he was 6 years old made sure that would never happen. So that teenager became a young man who thought he was unlovable, a young man who destroyed or tried to destroy every relationship he ever had, who left people broken and hurt in his path. A young man who thought the world had always looked down on him because of who he was and how he started. So he was going to live down to those expectations. So that child, that teenager, that man is me. That's who I was. Today it's completely different. Today I have 2 beautiful children, Oliver and Rafina, 3 years old, 1 year old, and a third on the way. I have an amazing partner, my wife Rena. Rena's my rock. My children, my wife are my best friend. Everything I do is for them. I have a job, the most amazing job, where I can give back to a community every single day that helped save my life. I get to listen now. I get to help. I get to try to heal the pain that has been inflicted on people. So why am I here? How did I get here? How did I go from that to being in a place where instead of fear and confusion, there's now hope, love, community, and family? Where all the things I didn't believe in, I now believe in now. I believe in now. I'm certainly not the smartest person in this room, I can tell you that. I'm not the best looking, I see the crowd. I'm definitely not the funniest. I'm here because of Linda Wilson. I'm here because of Eve Campagne. I'm here because of the Freilichs, the Pools. I'm here because of Marion Brown and Charmaine Tanner. I'm here because of Ainsley McNeil Campbell and Michael Skinner and Phoenix House. I'm here because a group of people, most who have very little in common, who don't know each other, decided that they saw something in this kid that he couldn't see in himself. They put a roof over my head. They fed me. They gave me a sofa when I needed a place to sleep or needed a place to feel peaceful. They hugged me and told me it was okay. They put themselves ahead of this child. So why is this important? Why am I talking about this today? I think that everybody in this room, everybody in the world, in different parts of your lives, you're going to give an opportunity to give back. You're going to have an opportunity to make a difference. It could be something very simple, something very small, like walking down the street and a homeless person asks you for change. Do you stop and talk and show them dignity and respect? Or do you put your head down and pretend like they're not there? You could be working at a soup kitchen. You could be working at a homeless shelter. It could be opening your door to a troubled youth. It could be not judging people based on their religion, their race, or their past. It could be helping a friend through addiction. There's all kinds of ways we can give back in life. Before you decide which way you're going to go and what you're going to do, I want you to think of what those children witnessed that day. I want you to think of how they felt that day at the mall. That child laying on the cold floor. That teenager who wanted to kill himself because the people that were supposed to protect him the most betrayed him. That young man that didn't care about himself and thought he was unlovable. And then I want you to think about all those people along the way that helped him. Some of the simplest things, from just, like I said, opening the door for half an hour, bringing him in, letting him sit down, giving him a place to get away from the abuse. You know, these are people that when he came home drunk, and when he came home high, when he stole from them, when he lied to them, when he told them to go fuck themselves. And he did. They didn't give up. Most would have given up, but they did not. I think we need to decide what kind of society we want for ourselves and our children, and that we need to stop and realize that our actions, no matter how small or big, have an impact on the thousands, the millions of Brendans out there. And I hope when you're presented with an opportunity to help that you do. Thank you.